Welcome to Magical Mondays. So this is going to be a space that I'm creating for collective messages for the week ahead, but there may be a little bit different than how I've done it before. I'm going to be working with ascended masters, beings, things like that for interpretation of what's going on in the collective. And if you're not part of my collective, subscribe, because this is going to become more accurate for you as you become a member, because these are for my collective. So if you're within that collective through, like subscribing, that's going to become more accurate for you over time. So this is going to be less about who, what, where, when, and why, and more about what's going on, more about what you can do, more about how you can stay sovereign in what's going on in the collective, navigate those spiritual lessons, and a little bit of a glimpse into what's ahead. So I sat down this morning with my team, and I might be with different beings every week. I'm not sure yet. I honestly just kind of got the channeled message to do this on Sunday, and we're rolling with it, and I'm going to learn with you guys. So today I was working with, I think, a druidic current. I was working with wizards this morning. So here's what they had to say. They brought through some symbols. So the first thing that I wanted to do in this collective space was bring through archetypes. Now you'll see my nails are purple, and you'll also see that 2 of them fell off. And I'd like to say that that's a space for whimsy. So the color that they mentioned that would be prominent this week, that if you do the things that I'm suggesting, it's going to help you with the collective lessons coming through. It's going to alchemize your energy to make things easier on you. So that's kind of why I wanted to do it this way. So the first color they brought through was violet. It doesn't have to be light purple. It can be darker. But the reason they suggested light purple as like the color that they wanted to explore was there's obviously a lot going on with disconnection from source right now. Like quite a bit. People are stressed. People are afraid. People are not only dealing with a lot of stuff on the collective front that is pretty dark, they're also dealing with disconnection from source in their personal life from the limitations they see around them. When you look at the mix of white and violet together, it causes a juxtaposition of the divine energy as well as divine clarity. That's really why they wanted to lead with this color. So if you feel called, carry things with you that are this color this week, paint your nails this color. Hello. Any type of violet will do. But if you want to really alchemize yourself to a place where you're like, I'm getting the lessons. I don't have to understand what they mean. I can go with the flow. They're going to lock in eventually. I don't really care. I'm just along for the ride. I'm embracing my whimsy. This color. Because it's going to allow you to let go. And right now, the thing we need the most is to let go. We can't control what's going on. And when we allow ourselves to let go and be guided instead, there's way less friction. And this can also help you have a secure decision-making space for all of the decisions that are coming in. The white in this color, the white color that is within the lavender, is really, really useful for bringing in that divine order, calling in divine assistance. And it's also good for feeling more grounded, but also bright at the same time. So this is the color that they recommended for this week if you want to incorporate it. It might be different every week. It might be the same for a whole month. I do not yet know, but I will let you know in these weekly check-ins when I find out. So the first thing that they brought through was that. Now, in terms of archetypes, no surprise here, but they brought through the magician. So I'm going to get that, obviously, for you guys to see. Another reason why they brought in the magician was power. You're going to see a lot of the crystals and things that they chose for this week revolve around power and revolve around the crown chakra and the root chakra, which is interesting. It's like you need to be grounded to source, but you need to be grounded to Gaia as well. So that's really important this week. But they were basically using the archetype of the magician, which I should have over here so you guys can see because we're talking about it. They're basically using the archetype of the magician to help you see that there is a different way to go about things than you've been going. What they would really like this week in terms of what can help us is opening our mind to, what haven't I tried? What have I honestly really not tried with my whole butt, right? They're a very unserious collective, which is fortunate for me because I had a lot of fun with them today. But they really wanted to talk about trying things in a new way and going, what if I'm not actually as limited as I think? What am I not open to is something that my team always talks to me about. But in this particular instance, it was, what haven't I tried? What haven't I explored? What potentialities exist? Like, this might be they talk to me a lot about certain TV shows. Like, they were talking to me about Merlin today, obviously, right? I just finished watching Merlin, and they told me that that was like a divine assignment. My partner's family has been trying to get me to watch Merlin for years, and it just lined up, and this must have been why for me. There's codes in everything you listen to. There's magic in everything you listen to. There's unintended whimsy in everything that you listen to. I tried so hard to do my nails. I really did. But anyway, there's whimsy in that, but there's also strong themes of power. There's strong themes of going through the back door to get what you need. There's strong themes of leaning on divine assistance. I think that Merlin is so important at this point in time because when you look at the show in particular, it really talks about how to do what you need to do hidden in a place that's not safe for you. Like, obviously Merlin can't reveal who he is the entire show until the end to the people that needed him the most. And that's, really in parallel with what's going on right now. You have to hold the parts of you that are most sacred secret due to danger in a lot of ways right now. That's collective and that's personal. And at the same time, there's all this divine assistance. There's all this people coming to save you at the 11th hour. There's all this surprise movement that you don't see coming that enables you to move through. And what they're trying to say is they want to help you move through. You can't control, but you can handle how you handle the lessons, maybe a little bit differently, by asking for divine assistance, by opening yourself up to things you haven't tried. Like, we're in the last leg of the year of the snake right now, and I think it's really important that this message came through now because we're shedding the last layers, which means they're the hardest ones to let go of. They're the last leg of resistance. There's the last leg of possibility that we haven't explored because we didn't think it would work. This is when these things are going to come in. This is when your best bet is to really just let go and allow right now and call in for that divine assistance in true magician kind of, in a magician kind of way, because you are really in need of those divine solutions you would never consider. There are going to be a lot of really powerful lessons coming through right now. So working on your grounding and working on that violet is going to be really useful for you to get the last messages for this time to really set you up for what's coming next. So here's some other symbols that they shared. The symbol for the week is a bow and arrow. Now, you can either use the arrow or you can use a bow, but the archetypes are really what they were referring to. It's pulling something back to launch it. Now, we're heading into the year of the triple fire horse, right? So, obviously, people would use bow and arrows on horses. Like, let's just look at that. But it's also the sense of long-range fire, really strong focus, being in alignment and trusting your instinct and letting it go and letting the arrow do its job. So in terms of how that can look in your personal life, there might be really big themes of transmutation right now. You might want to take one energy and turn it into another. You might really want to, and if you need help with that, I have a meditation to do that, an energy mastery that does it for you. Or you might really want to be looking at, okay, what are the last things I haven't tied up yet? What are the loose ends I haven't dealt with that are going to trip me up? How do I set myself up for what's coming? Might really be the key. And also just dumb it down to instinct. Take the whether I can or can't out of it and reconnect to your instinct, which is another reason why lavender is the prominent color of this week. The other colors that they talked about, well, gemstones, really, they talked about garnet. And they talked about the shape of the teardrop. So your color might be lavender, but your shape is teardrop. So when they give me like symbols or shapes, they're usually referencing the alchemy or sacred geometry within the shape. When you see a teardrop, what they were telling me about the teardrop this morning is that it's release. It's a way of releasing without having to break down. When you wear a teardrop, you're signifying that emotion alchemizing into something else. That teardrop is coming down, releasing sacred code, and moving through you. So if you feel like things are too heavy to carry right now, lean for some teardrop action. If you feel like you don't have, when you're like angry and you're angry crying, that's really what's coming through right now. Teardrops. Like, there's a reason why this is teardrop and garnet. It's sacred power. And when people, when people angry cry, well, that's because they're powerful and they're trying to find a way through what's bothering them. And the teardrop carries that sacred alchemy. It actually carries the solution. When you let go of the emotion, you hold space for the solution to come through. So that's why they wanted teardrop this week. When they talked about crystals they had a few that they mentioned you could wear to be able to help yourself through what's about to go down in this week. They mentioned garnet. There's a really big root chakra grounding theme, but there's also a very big opening theme to the collective energies of this week. And garnet is so much about organizing, standing strong in your power, grounding, harnessing inner power. Like, garnet is such a treat of a crystal, really. And obviously it mirrors the themes of Capricorn, organization, responsibility. I'm also going to say it anchors the themes of red, which triple fire horse year coming up. Again, on the what are the last things you need to clear up, and you actually need structure to clean them up. So you might be seeing things like routines, structure, organization, big changes that you're making to your day-to-day. This is going to set you up for that fire horse energy, which is coming in hot, by the way. Some of those energies have already started to move. Some of those horses are already through the gates, y'all. The other crystal that they mentioned was smoky quartz. You will probably always catch me with a smoky quartz somewhere on my body. Let's just start there. But smoky quartz, it is grounding and divine at the same time. Smoky quartz is such an earth intelligent crystal, and it really does carry those vibrations of like sacred earth intelligence, Gaia codes, all that kind of stuff. But it also moves out the stuff and connects you to the divine. It is impeccable in terms of psychic defense. I've been wearing smoky quartz at the request of my team for years because it really is that girl. Like, smoky quartz is just so powerful. And I mean, doesn't it look like absolutely beautiful with the garnet? Like, I should really make some garnet and smoky quartz jewelry. Come at me later, maybe I'll figure it out. But I really love the two of them together. Like, they just look like, come on. That's it. Breathtaking, really. So smoky quartz was a way that you could pull in those earth codes to ground yourself before the fire horses come in and muck up your whole life if you haven't created that structure. It also allows you to lean into instinct. Smoky quartz is really powerful for getting into that instinct. So that is what that's for. Now, a lot of you might not have this, and I acknowledge that a lot of you might not have this, but this is Libyan Desert Glass. This is for the whimsy. So you'll see that there's a juxtaposition of whimsy and groundedness happening at the same time. Even though things are heavy, there's so much lightness, like the presence of the fae, the presence of dragons, the presence of magic. It's actually very strong right now, and so is the presence of whimsy, and we need whimsy to get through what we're going through, right? And so they brought in Libyan Desert Glass. You might really need creative inspiration right now. You might really need higher consciousness, and Libyan Desert Glass assists with all of that. It helps you connect to the higher realms. It helps you open up your creativity. It helps you find your authenticity and who you are. And it's gentle, like in the sense that it is a tektite. For those of you that might not be familiar, she is a asteroid collision stone. She's beautiful, but she's not heavy. Like, where Moldavite can be too intense for most people, Libyan Desert Glass is sweet, 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 sweet. She does cause changes, but she causes them on the inside, in the coding, in the DNA, and she really does carry that whimsy. She carries that artistry. She carries that uplifting. I wear this every day, but maybe don't take my advice because I wear Moldavite every day too, and I'm fine. So, contrary to the popular stories of Moldavite. So, I'm going to sit her right here because she's a beauty queen. Now, the other crystal they recommended, which I do have but I cannot find, is kunzite. If you own kunzite, again, with these two together, this and kunzite is a very powerful heart opening, very powerful grounding. It's almost like the whole system needs some support through how intense the energies coming up are going to be. So that was why the kunzite. The kunzite is such a strong, powerful heart opening stone, like crystal. I really feel like we need that right now. And kunzite is, like, of course, rose quartz is that girl, but kunzite is just so beautiful and opening. Like, another substitute if you don't have kunzite could be morganite, but they were pretty specific on the kunzite, and I think it's because of how it connects you with the higher realms. So these are the symbols and archetypes of the week. Now let's get into some messages for the week ahead. Okay, let's start off with this friend. And sorry if I keep kicking my camera. I am going to work on getting a better setup where you can see my face, but Rome wasn't built in a day. Okay. What is this collective needing to look at this week? What are the prominent energies? What are they learning? Oh, okay. Yep, we'll work with that. All right. So I think we can see, even in just lifting these off, how important these themes are. And look, fairy tale and mystical. I was debating over calling this Mystic Mondays, but there's a tarot deck called that, and maybe it'll be Mystical Mondays, but we will see. So, the things we need to remember so we don't get lost in the sauce are going to be prominent this week. Especially with all the Uranus transits that have been happening, things have been tough. Things have been heavy. There's a lot of that heavy boundaried energy right now. That like lessons, collective karma, time, like all that heavy shit, transformation, right? We need whimsy. If you're here, please, for the love of God, find your whimsy, because like you need it. You need it. You really do. So the first things we're looking at are compassion. People around you might be triggering the living crap out of you right now. That's because they're transforming and you are. There's a lot of soul contract updating happening right now where people are changing and they're being forced to look at the things that aren't working in their life, and so they are crusty. They're crusty. But it's okay for them to be crusty. They're not being crusty towards you necessarily. They're being crusty towards the patterns that don't exist anymore, that they're not compatible with. And you might be feeling really crusty too. So just remember that broader question of who am I really yelling at? Like, you know that meme that's like that cute little adorable kitten, like, look who you're yelling at? Everyone you're yelling at this week is a fluffy little kitten. Because they are. We're all going through this shit together. We're all going through this heavy stuff. And 15:55 on my timer. And I think it's really important that we lean into that sense of, okay, let me take a deep breath. We're all supercharged right now. Shit is intense. How can I look at this situation through the lens of love? Really lean into your fun. However you express your whimsy, however you express the inner child. I've been getting a lot of messages in the last week about the inner child, and a lot of it has been that the inner child energy is the opposite to that heavy, dense crap we're dealing with. If you take some time to just do something fun, silly, stupid, with the people you love, you will counteract so much of this dense energy. And if you want to lean into the codes of whimsy, watch something like Merlin. I just watched, what did I just watch? Raya and the Last Dragon, I think it's named, on Saturday. I think that's the name. It's on Disney Plus, but you need the themes of hope right now. You need the themes of imaginary worlds right now. And there's magic within those things. And we need that hope right now. So if you're feeling heavy, lean into fairy tales right now. Lean into fae energy. Lean into whimsy. Lean into being a child. It's really going to move you right now. And it's going to get, like, I know a lot of us, especially with needing the energy of Garnet, there's a lot of heavy shit to do right now. But you can do more if you take a break. You can do more if you have fun while doing it. It's not about doing all the tasks so seamlessly like a robot. It's doing the tasks and enjoying your life at the same time that's really coming through here. And again, can't take that, like, take the words out of my mouth. Rejoice. Joyous. You got anything else to say? Gratitude. So another thing that might be really prominent this week, because these are just the things you need to lean on. Not so much the things you need to tackle. You're probably going to be pretty aware of those when they come up. But the energies you need to lean on. You need to just take some time this week to just go let your hair down and go do something fun and stupid. I don't care if it's coloring. I don't care if it's like playing with children. Like whatever it is you do to find whimsy. If you have kids in your life, spend some time with them because they have the tools to unlock what you're dealing with right now. You need that fun. You need that gratitude. One thing that I like to do, like for gratitude, which can be really hard with what we're dealing with right now, but you only need 17 seconds, right? Spend time really in your body. Like if you're petting a cat, pet the cat. Don't be like, oh my God, I gotta buy my groceries. Pet the cat. Pet the cat. Feel the energy of the cat. If somebody has gifted you recently, lean into that love. If someone has done something for you recently, lean into that love. If you've done something for yourself, I like to spend time going around each item on my desk or in my room. And I think this is such a good practice because we take them for granted, but there are things all around me here that were gifted to me. There are things all around me that people so lovingly brought to my life, and everything around you is a collection of gifts and love and acts you've done for yourself, and we don't take the time to appreciate that enough, and that's a really good way to just drop yourself into gratitude, because the true answer is you don't need to fix the problem, you need to fix the vibration right now. And because the problem's not controllable, but if you fix the vibration, sometimes the problem ceases to exist, or it creates a place where that solution can come in. So that's really what is being looked at right now. Let's see what else they want to share. I think a big part of the energies that are coming through right now is remembering who you are. Whether it's beauty work that you do, if you're, like, I know a lot of my collective are glamour witches, but I would say it's leaning into what is so good about you. And I don't mean to ask this in a mean, loaded question. I realize it can be triggering for some people. But compliment yourself this week. find a way to see your impact. Sometimes I do this by just sitting in my own aura. Other times I might do this by writing down a list of the positive things that happened to me this week. There's a lot of mind work in the week ahead that might be beneficial. A big part of the collective messages that have come through over the weekend for me have been about resetting the way you think. And so if you are spending time, every time you walk by the mirror, give yourself one compliment. Every day, find a list of 5 things that you appreciate about yourself. These numbered things can be really powerful. And my friend used to set gratitude alarms. I think she's so smart for that because I could see them going off because there was a couple days where I was working with her all day and these alarms just kept going off and I could really see that it was making such a difference for her. That might be something really good to do right now. Like just a practice time in your day where you're like, no, I'm just saying thank you. Because it's not about the problem. It's actually about the energy. And the minute you stop thinking it's about the problem and you start being like, oh, let me just correct this energy. See that? Manifest? You see that? You see that? There's just energy in the way. It just needs to be moved. It is always that simple. If it's not that simple, there's never a time where it's not that simple. We're just in our heads or in our butts about something, and it happens. But the energy just needs to be moved. Some way. What are you not exploring? What do you think is not possible? A thing that has been heavy for me lately is angelic assistance. If you are part of Energy Mastery, and if you're not, you should, there's a 7-day free trial, and there'll be a description below on how you can join it. It's $33 Canadian a month, but one of the sessions is worth $90 alone, and there are 60-odd sessions and growing in there. It's a block releasing program, and it helps heal you from the inside. There's all sorts of deets on my website, which I'll post, but the point that I'm trying to make is there's a really powerful, just kind of a porting session. It's not a meditation necessarily. It brings you to the angelic realm. So I would call it a port. And it puts you in the energies of that realm. It literally takes you up there through energetic movement. And that energy is so needed right now because it just slaws off density. If you're having a lot of density and you need to move the energy, definitely do that. Do it a couple times a day. You don't have to do anything during it. You can just lay there and relax. It will start slowing off all the density in your body. Now remember, some of us have years of density, so it might not be like all gone right away, but the things I'd suggest for really helping the angelic energy move through right now, because it is the energy of justice, and this is what the angels are here for. They're here to serve the collective. That's what their purpose is, and they bring so much lightness, so you should be asking for their help. If you need physical healing, ask Archangel Raphael. If you need justice, ask Archangel Michael. If you need help with your psychic gifts, ask Archangel Uriel. If you need help with money or your pets, ask Archangel Ariel. If you want to know anything else about archangels, leave it in the comments. I'll help you link up to who you might need. But especially like the archangels of beauty, like the Archangel of Beauty, Jophiel, and the Archangel of Peace, Chamiel, Jophiel and Chamuel in English. They are really powerful right now for what is going on in the collective, but I would lean on them, and I'll list them all down below. But the angelic realm portal in Energy Mastery, it'll just bring you up there, help you soak in the energies. The other thing that I'd say is the angelic support experience. If you have a problem you need solving, Melanie Beckler from AskAngels.com, literally an angel incarnate probably, she has a call-in emergency help meditation that's free, and it really packs a punch, so I would look into that too. I'll link that below. But I'd also look at the transmutation chamber. The reason why in Energy Mastery I'd look at that is because you can turn one energy into something else. That's what it's for. So you can turn doubt into results. You could turn disconnection into connection. Whatever it is you want to do, you could turn evil eye into money with that experience. Whatever it is you want to choose, but do it again and again until all that energy is gone. Because when the energy is gone, so is the problem. And it really is that simple. And we often will create all these blocks because we're not willing to look at things in life where we're actually looking at, okay, what am I not open to, or what have I not explored? We have this really rigid belief that the solution is this, when it's actually not. It really isn't. So if you're feeling that and you're like, I have a solution, there's no way I can get out of it, talk to the angels. They're going to show you what you need to do. The only thing that I gotta say is you have to do it. It's the only way out, so you gotta commit to it. Alright. The other thing that I will say is there is so much magic that is being poured into the collective right now, and we don't see it. So make time. Because what happens when you are so stressed and everything is so difficult, you actually stop looking for whimsy and magic, and you actually have trained your brain to ignore it. Because it's when your brain is in fight or flight, it's always going to look to be in constant vigilance. And when you're in constant vigilance, you sure as hell aren't vigilant to magic, because that energy is locked in. It can't flow. Your brain has locked that energy to be like, nope, I need to solve problems. I need to solve problems. So you'll actually look for more problems. If you create a space in your day where you force your brain to start looking at the whimsy you saw today, force your brain to start looking at positive content, force your brain to be in the opposite energy, you are going to see enchantment. You are going to see strong spiritual themes come back into your life. A lot of you are just needing balance right now. Like, literally, centered being the last card. Centered. And that's there for a reason. And that's another reason why all these crystals, I think, because they're literally hitting very different points in your chakra system, in your energy body, that will allow for that centering to occur. And so this is use your power wisely and be really discerning about what you're consuming in terms of content and like what you're exposing yourself to. Call up your bubbly friends. Call up your silly friends this week. Call up your fun friends this week and allow yourself play, because it is really allow yourself. It is 100% allowing, because so many of us don't allow anymore. And we just get caught in this cycle of doing, and it's actually breaking us. It's why hustle culture is so bad, and exhaustion and fatigue are so bad. You need whimsy. Our systems don't allow us for whimsy. We have to create it. We have to create the spots in our lives where that can come through. So if you have any comments, feel free to leave them. And if you see these themes in your week, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next Monday.